Here is our bended horse. This horse is bent to the left. You can see the bend doesn't come from the neck coming in. The bend comes from the body. Left bended horse, you can get the bend, and we're going to go through the USDF progression. There are other schools of thought, like the Spanish Riding School doesn't really do haunches in that much. They don't do leg yield at all. But in the United States Dressage Federation, it is so cool how the lateral work builds up. And so you get the fancier things. But all the fancy stuff is just a test of how good the basics are. And the basics are the hardest part. Once you have the basics, all this other stuff's easy. So in intro level, all they're doing is establishing straight lines, circles, changes of direction, rhythm, relaxation, connection. Say it with me. Rhythm, relaxation, connection. So a circle has the horse, because their hip comes forward, their pelvis kind of twists a little bit. That inside hip comes forward, that leg steps under the center of mass on a circle. A circle is actually the beginning of all lateral work. Training level, there's still no lateral movement. There's just even more correct bend. In intro level, they don't even expect, correct bend. They just use the circle. And the circle is so basic because it makes the horse use that inside hind leg. It's so cool. First lateral work begins with the leg yield, and this horse is bent, but even if they're straight, this still isn't gymnastic, because if they're straight and they're going this way, they're not stepping under the center of mass. Their legs kind of go sideways. But it's the beginning of, if I put my inside leg on, do you engage that hind leg? And it is what it is. In second level, we start to check in on true lateral work with shoulder in. You bring the shoulders in. It doesn't have to be a lot, remember, because their shoulders are narrower than the hindquarters. It's like that. And it's not the neck. Lots of us will turn the neck. No. We want to place the shoulders slightly in front of the pelvis, so that this leg steps under the center of mass, all this horse. It's like if you have to pick up something heavy, you have to get your hips under it to lift it. Most horses, they're pushing. You can see their hind legs behind them. We want them to carry it and go under. And the weight of the rider is on here, so it's even more. So shoulder in, haunches in. Again, it's not a lot, but you want this outside hind leg to go under their center of mass. So haunches in. If this is the track, then when the shoulders are on the track, it's haunches in. And if the hindquarters are on the track, it's haunches out, which is why the rail doesn't make as much sense. So second level, we have more development, and we still do a little bit of leg yield, but it's mostly shoulder and haunches in. In third level, we start to integrate it. So we do shoulder in, but on a diagonal, it combines aspects of haunches in, because this outside hind leg has to step under the center of mass. If you did a diagonal like this, these legs wouldn't step under the center of mass, because there's no center of mass to step under. So you have to combine the shoulder in placement so that there's weight that the horse is stepping under when they do half pass. First level introduces turn on the haunches. So you're passing the shoulders around the hindquarters, and you want this outside hind leg to step under this way. That's why the moment the hind leg, so say you move the shoulders too fast, see how if it pivots here, the hindquarters step out, but if it pivots here, the shoulders move. So the moment the hindquarters, it's no longer turn on the haunches. That's why it's so easy to get a 4. It's either all or nothing. One step means the horse's weight is not back here by definition. It's very hard. So that's why it starts in first level, continues into second level and third level. And then fourth level, over time, it evolves into a pirouette where they are pivoting. The leg steps up and down, but the weight is so much back here, and the shoulders are so lifted that it becomes a pirouette. And then they test that at the walk and the canter. Flying change is also a lateral movement in a way. It's testing. Again, all of this is testing and playing. What if you do this? What happens with this? What happens in this gait, in this movement? So a left bended horse is going to do left lead canter. And counter canter tests, can you keep that bend while going the opposite direction? Can you control the bend no matter what the track is in a way? So once you can, then theoretically, In second level, you do walk to canters, right? And you do simple changes. So you go from a left lead canter, walk, change the bend, and then do right lead canter. And so that's a lateral. That's a lateral exercise, right? So when you do a flying change, you're saying, can you flip from left bend to right bend instantaneously? And it's just another lateral movement in a way. The trainer thinks third level and fourth level are kind of the same. So we are schooling fourth level half pass at the canter, but it's just so cool how you start with leg yield, it turns into something, and all of these things turn into something else. You can't just go out there and say, oh, my horse needs to do half pass. You can try and you'll certainly get something out of it if you can get the quality, but it comes from doing weeks and weeks and weeks of haunches in. Then you can test it with the half pass or the turn on the haunches. And I think it is so cool. The more I do it, the more I'm in awe and the more wisdom I see in the USDF tests.